All right, hello, my beauties and bees, and welcome to another installment of the Weekend Weird. Today we are getting weird with, oh yeah, with this. We're gonna get no Tartarian vampires. That was last week. There we go. All right, so this week, the audience voted to talk about out of place artifacts, or as they're delightfully known, OOPAs. Yes, I love that word, OOPA. Some people call them OOPArts. The video that we're watching today actually calls them OOPArts in the description or in the title, but I like OOPAs better. That's just my personal opinion, my personal feelings about it. So do with that what you will. But today, the channel called Mystery History 2 will be teaching us about OOPAs. And there's not too much. I guess they got a link to the main channel too here, but we're watching it on the second channel, the sub channel. All right, what do you got to offer us? Let's see. All right.
Recently covered the impressive ancient dwellings known as dolmens, which can be found littering most of the European
That was the Flintstones house.
countryside. Enormous ancient structures, which we feel were left by a surviving, less capable branch of an earlier civilization, still possessing advanced knowledge, allowing them to build with such stones. Surviving remnants of the group, we also believe, were responsible for the masterfully constructed ancient ruins which can be found upon the same continents. Additionally, this era within human history was the inspiration for an animated TV show, namely the Flintstones. Curiously, the Flintstones, dubbed the modern Stone Age family,
Oh, he does talk about the Flintstones. I'll be damned.
could easily be mistaken for a lost advanced civilization. Did the makers of the Flintstones know something we are currently unraveling regarding the builders of the Flintstones?
Yes, Hanna-Barbera was ahead of their time, and they knew that there were an ancient Flintstone tech civilization of the past.
Homes, namely the dolmens? Or is it all a mere coincidence? Some of these dolmens still possess as yet unexplained evidence which flies in the face of academics worldwide. Sites such as the Dolmen of Menga, found near Malaga in Spain. This massive dolmen, one of the largest megalithic sites in Europe, is a prime example of the unexplained features which defy current explanation.
Why are they
the
unexplained?
The dolmen is 902 feet long, 20
You're just asserting that they're unexplained, though. Why are they unexplained?
feet wide and 115 feet in height. It was built with 32 megaliths, the largest of which weighing over 200 tons. Nearby is another impressive dolmen, known as De Vera, discovered between 1903 and 1905 by brothers Antonio and Jose Vera of Antequera. This site also possesses some of the most impressive megaliths to be found in any dolmens anywhere in Europe. Who built these incredible structures? How did
like Neolithic people, it looks like?
they build them? La Roche-à-Feu, in the French department of Ille-et-Vilaine in the Brittany region, was named after a legend claiming that the stones were brought by ferry.
Say, I've heard it speculated that the Flintstones actually live beneath the cloud bank in the Jetsons verse.
This clearly inspired by their inexplicable nature. A name of fairy rock was given to many French dolmens or covered walkways. Regardless of whether our own theory is correct, the still surviving features of many of these ancient dolmens is clearly in direct contradiction with a tested theory. Further alternative
In what
study
way?
is desperately needed of structures we find highly compelling.
Some of them are glacial radicals, I'm sure. It definitely does look like a lot of them were built, but some of the stuff that you showed, some of the images that you included, I'm not convinced aren't glacial radicals.
There are many enigmatic, unexplained, ancient mysteries which we have covered here on our channel.
Did your voice just change? Ah!
Many mysterious ruins which are slowly revealing their secrets to us. However, what must be the most intriguing of the historical subcategories has to be the OOPArts, out-of-place artifacts that have been found all over Earth. These mystifying items are the only subject within the field which can shed their own very unique lights upon the distant past, and sometimes hard to believe possibilities
I'm not getting what's wrong with these items you're showing. You're gonna have
attached to their ages. The island of Samos within Greece is home to a number of these particular artifacts. 1.5 kilometers off the coast of Turkey, this small island has a big history. Within the island's capital museum is a wide range of very impressive artifacts. The most interesting among the collection is undoubtedly the strange bronze artifact, which according to academia, merely depicts a strange form of unknown carriage that would have once been pulled by horses. However, some also believe that the strange animals are actually depicting a form of periscope, and that the entire artifact is actually that of an ancient submarine. Additionally, there also exists another amazing artifact that we felt was worth a mention, found within private collection. Originally a religious idol, what do you think this wooden artifact is depicting? Could it actually be that of modern-day paragliders, somehow sent back in time?
Why would you even speculate that this paragliders? Pareidolia strong. This looks like a bench of some type that they're sitting on. Or a throne, maybe? A couch? There's no indication that they're gliding, but it looks like they might have like a parasol above them to protect them from the sun.
And depicted by this once ancient people as a religious vision? It's an incredible, if rather imaginative thought, but it is testament to such artifacts' intriguing nature. There are many incredible out-of-place artifacts that can be found all over Earth, each one just waiting to spark our interests. Thanks for watching, guys, and until next time, take care.
And they're gonna keep being weird and like closing the video, but there's like 20 more minutes here.
The chronological dating of our technological development and capabilities within antiquity are often correlated and judged upon the developments within heat management of metal refinery. For example, one of our strongest arguments against the modern-day attested view that ancient Egyptians were the builders of the Sphinx, the pyramids, the tombs, etc., is partly based upon their lack of ability in heating a furnace to a sufficient enough temperature.
Oh, I thought it was racism. Isn't it racism? Isn't that why brown people couldn't build pyramids?
To create the hardened metal tools needed to penetrate and carve such hard stones. The Nanjing Belt is an extremely rare find that has unsurprisingly vanished from public view, preventing any further analysis, although the existence of these artifacts was officially noted in several places and was indeed analyzed by several specialists. What is amazing regarding the Nanjing Belt is its age, but most importantly, what it is.
Nanjing Belt. Nanjing Belt. Okay. From ancient origins. Okay, let's see. Nanjing Belt and its many mysteries. Why were they talking about Egypt? Yeah, I'm confused now. All right, what's in the tomb? Noted 3rd century. And just to be clear, this is from like a conspiracy site. This isn't like real history or real archaeology here. This is pseudo archaeology. They're the only people talking about this. Okay.
Is made of. In 1952, 2 tombs were found within Yixing City in China. One of the tombs also had a clear date inscribed upon its inside. It stated that they were buried on the 20th of September of the 7th year of Yuan Kang, the late general of Zhao, 1700 years ago. When the belt was initially retrieved, it was sent for analysis at the chemistry department of Nanjing University. The results were astonishing: 10% copper, 5% manganese, and the remaining was 85% pure aluminum. However, the development of aluminum is a very modern achievement, requiring extreme heats to smelt, heats that we believe were impossible to manage at the time. Alumina is dissolved in molten cryolite at 1000 degrees C, with a melting point of pure alumina being 2054 degrees Celsius. So, the question persists: how could such an artifact exist? A question once taken up in the West by 3 scholars, Butler, Glidewell, and Pritchard, at St. Andrews University. The abstract sums up their work, quote, "Pieces of aluminum, supposedly parts of a set of belt ornaments, were found in a Jing Dynasty tomb during excavations in the 19th."
So aluminum's the problem. Okay, 'cause yeah, aluminum smelting is modern, but has anybody corroborated the chemical makeup of the belt since the initial review or evaluation to see what the composition really was?
1950s. The authenticity of these finds was questioned at the time in view of the technology required to isolate aluminum from its ore. Examination of the thermodynamic requirement for this process demonstrates unequivocally that the temperature required for this process is greatly in excess of that possible with Jing Dynasty technology, and so the finds cannot be authentic. Unfortunately, again, we find ourselves in familiar waters.
And we got to remember, I'm looking at this right now, I'm not just pulling this out of my ass, that aluminum, although not used as metal in the ancient world, was very it was well known and used for things like dyes. Yeah, he's not citing any sources, just making claims. Let's see here. So, I'll show you what I'm looking at here. Just the history of aluminum. Used for dyeing, made it a commodity. So, and there's aluminum in a lot of stuff we still use today. But the idea that aluminum would be present in this buckle is fine. Whether the buckle is made out of 85% aluminum is kind of crazy, but the early history starts as early as the 5th century. And I guess I should say for the do I have any British people in here? Aluminium? How do you all say it? Alumium? I don't know. Y'all say it weird. Pliny the Elder. It could be shaped. Look at this. Roman writer Petronius mentioned in his novel Satyrcon that an unusual glass had been presented to the emperor. After it was thrown on the pavement, it did not break, but only deformed. It was returned to its former shape by hammering. After learning from the inventor that nobody else knew how to produce this material, the emperor had the inventor executed so that it did not diminish the price of gold. Variations of the story. So this is kind of like folktale kind of about the origins Variations of the story told by Pliny the Elder. The Roman history by Roman historian Cassius Dio. Some sources suggest this glass could have been aluminum. It's possible aluminum-containing alloys were produced in China in the reign of the first Jin dynasty. Let's look at that. All you have to do is freaking fact check, people. Come on. So here we go. This is what we're looking at. Oh, no. Damn it. Now flip me back all the way up here. So aluminum was plentiful and could be reduced by coke in the presence of copper, giving aluminum copper alloys. Existing works by Chinese alchemists show that alloys with a small aluminum content could be produced in China. The Chinese did not have the technology to produce aluminum, and the temperature needed, around 2,000 degrees, were unachievable. A number of high aluminum artifacts were found in China, supposedly relating to the time of the first Jin dynasty, but it was later shown the technology needed to make them was not available at the time, and thus the artifacts were not authentic. Here, Jin Dynasty tomb can be authenticated in Interdisciplinary Sciences, Science Review, page 88 through 94. I don't need to get to the wolves yet.
Scholars, 3 in fact, with a conclusion based solely upon historical assumptions. Unfortunately, the artifact was seemingly too controversial for some, and it has disappeared, sadly, quite possibly forever. During a previous video titled...
Well, some copper can be cold worked, though. The copper that was found in the Great Lakes area in Upper Michigan, especially, that's just laying out on the ground, it can be worked cold. There was a whole industry around it.
Secret missions into the Great Pyramid, in which we covered the most bizarre of artifacts, once found in a seemingly inaccessible shaft, eventually discovered to be an entry shaft into the now-named Queen's Chamber. Just how this bronze ball, hook, and several bizarre fragments of wood...
Ooh, Equus, that's interesting. They used high winds to get the temperature up. I'm interested.
...found their way into the pyramids is unknown. We shared the fact that the wood found there... How this be an entry shaft into the now-named Queen's Chamber. Just how this bronze ball, hook, and several bizarre fragments of wood found their way into the pyramids is unknown. We shared the fact that the wood had become conveniently lost, thus preventing any future dating of the artifacts. Or indeed,
that's like the Smithsonian conspiracy.
Possible attempt to have once penetrated the pyramid far before the Spanish invasion of Egypt, their modern rediscovery, or indeed before the entrance to the pyramid was located. However, in a rather strange yet fortunate twist of fate, sitting within a collection of ancient Asian relics within Scotland, an Egyptian archaeologist was shocked to rediscover these cedar fragments, once mislabeled and thus never classified, lost for almost 70 years, yet refound within an old cigar box. One has to wonder with our prior hypothesis, and indeed the convenience
what's the problem with these artifacts? Did he
of the
say?
wood somehow becoming lost. Was this a deliberate act by someone? Possibly someone who realized the controversy attached to this artifact. What we find most compelling, however, and a possible motive to hide such an artifact, are the now realized result of modern carbon dating, showing that the wood dates to somewhere between 3341 and 3094 BC, long before the claimed construction of the pyramid. Furthermore, although many have claimed that counterweights and timber structures were utilized in the construction of the pyramids, this wood...
So, scraps of wood that are in the pyramid that are older than the pyramid, wood found in the pyramid would almost universally be older than the pyramids. How could you have younger... I mean, stuff that was brought in there after it was built, for sure, but, like, the timber being harvested before the pyramids were built is not a I don't get it. I would love to learn more about smelting and metalwork, but I know they incorrectly dispute those copper artifacts that Bree just mentioned. As we know, anthropology was hugely racist until just a few decades ago, and still is in many ways. And the legacy of that still corrupts much knowledge.
Not only predates the claimed date of their creation, but does
That
so
was Ember, by the way.
by some 1,000 to 2,000 years. So any mainstream explanation for this dating anomaly is severely lacking. However, it fits perfectly with our original hypothesis and is indicative not only of a far earlier date of construction, but could indeed have been a possible successful attempt at penetration.
Or what if the piece of an older wooden, whatever it was, an old piece of construction equipment was in here that you know, that, or maybe they tore down an older structure. I don't know, and this was inside that, but that doesn't mean the correct answer is not to redate the pyramid.
Trading the pyramid's deepest inner chambers, simply due to the mysterious yet impressive location in which these enigmatic artifacts
Welcome back, Kelly.
were found and subsequently retrieved from. Curatorial assistant Abir Aladani found the fragments of wood as she perused the Asia section of the archives of the University of Aberdeen. Quote, "Once I looked into the numbers of our Egypt records, I instantly knew what it was and that it had effectively been hidden in plain sight in the wrong collection. I'm an archaeologist and have worked on digs in Egypt, but I never imagined it would be here in northeast Scotland that I'd find something so important to the heritage of my own country." End quote. As you can imagine, we find the wooden artifacts.
I think most important artifacts to Egypt and ancient Egypt can be found in the UK. So
highly compelling. We have come to a point in the age of our civilization, thanks to the efforts of countless individuals who, in the pursuit of truth, specifically the reality of a lost past, a lost civilization once possessing now lost technologies, has finally arrived on the main stage of debate. It has come to a point of critical mass, either having been made aware of their existence, or indeed realizing or stumbling upon this hidden truth independently. Regardless, we have uncovered an immense array of proof to not only confirm their existence, but a proof now all but overwhelming to argue with. The entire planet, literally littered
this is all bloviating. Show me the artifacts.
with impossible remnants, left by
You said you had amazing ancient OOPArts. I want to see them.
what we believe was not only one, but part of an array of lost civilizations, several of which being past global superpowers. Yet I digress.
Really?
The artifacts found throughout Giza, for example, demonstrate a seemingly impossible ability to move and carve stones with the tools mainstream academics would put in the builder's hands, making such creations impossible. There exists within the museum's archives themselves a smorgasbord of vases and stone cores, lay for all to see. Each suggest that they were not only the result of some form of advanced lathe work, but other far superior and powerful tools far ahead of that of the copper chisel, which to claim was
It was sand. The secret was sand. The whole time. You could take a piece of copper and put sand down and grind on it, and it would start to grind a little, and it's not surprising that the people on the windy desert of of North Africa would be the ones to discover that, hey, you can sandblast or sand grinds stone away.
the culprit we feel is now nothing more than an offense to one's intelligence, when the evidence to suggest otherwise is in front of one's face at the same time. We have previously covered the vases supposedly made using nothing but copper in the past, specifically the tri-lobe disc. Yet the many other members of the collection, known as the Saqqara vases, not only demonstrate a mastery of lathe work, but some are so impossibly delicate that when attempted to be explained with modern paradigm, one is left utterly baffled. What lost technologies or techniques were used in the creation of these vases? Article 99 from the Anorthosite Nice catalog, but one example of this extraordinary ability to either cut or possibly mold these stone vases, with wafer-thin edges and a shape formed with the lip, demonstrating they would be impossible to recreate even with the advanced technology of a lathe. Who made these seemingly impossible artifacts?
So there's been a lost technique to create these is the problem. It's a technique, it's not even a material. Usually OOPArts are a material. It's like, hey, this is made out of steel. They didn't have steel back then. Or sometimes they go way, way back. It's like, hey, this hammer was found in a carboniferous rock. So obviously humans have been around since the Carboniferous, or there was no Carboniferous and the Earth's only 6,000 years old.
Along with the unmissable Great Pyramids, highly compelling. Elongated skulls, along with their origins, are undoubtedly one of the most heavily debated areas within modern archaeology.
Do we consider like human remains artifacts now? I guess if they were decorated, and an argument could be made that these people were decorating their skulls when they did their skull bindings, but this is what causes this. This is skull binding.
Many independently funded researchers who have explored and subsequently exposed vast arrays of unusual and as yet inexplicable features surrounding a particularly few examples of these intriguing and incredibly puzzling artifacts. For regardless of known head-binding practices, a well-studied and historically an extremely common practice, thus one which modern science has an extensive understanding of.
Yes, it was an ancient ashtray was that last one. That makes sense. Thank you, Theo, for pointing that out. Human skulls are made by humans. No, I'm an archaeo and human remains are not artifacts.
Including the effect this had on the shape of the skull, makes any skull which endured these traditions are easily to identify post-mortem. The most commonly found incorporated wooden boards pressed upon the head, creating large flat areas along the frontal lobes. Pressing the brow area of the skull upward, this malformation creates a crease or bulge near the normal napping areas of the skull, as seen in these photos of remains.
With those remains in Croatia, but in South America they used a different method.
Currently claimed as a suspected alien found in Croatia. Yet due to this knowledge of malformation, we can easily identify that it is indeed of a Homo sapien. This so-called crease is easily identifiable upon bone structure. However, as previously mentioned, there exists a particular few whose remains not only have an elongated cranium, but the individual—
I don't think that this one is from skull binding. I believe this is an infant with hydrocephaly. Hydrocephaly, however you want to pronounce it.
In which they belong not only possess said craniums undeniably formed via natural processes, but are identical in appearance to millions of witness testimonies describing what we all now know as the Greys. With huge eyes, long, wide craniums, frames of a tiny stature, and
the irony of me talking about that earlier in the show and being like, hey, do you all want me to talk about gray aliens? They seem to come up in every other topic, and we never covered them just by themselves because they're everywhere.
Thin pelvis. Remains of tiny humanoids, possibly visitors to our planet, who may have crashed here, subsequently marooned upon our planet, is an account which has been told before. We have in the past explored the compelling
They are babies with and infants with hydrocephaly.
story surrounding the Dropa discs, an ancient OOPArt that, according to a number of individuals who have examined and tested them, tell this exact tale. Long barrows, granges, earthworks, and henges found across the United Kingdom all have rumors surrounding long-headed skulls being covered up after having been found at the sites. Passionately protected from trespassers, a vast number of the largest barrows have never been opened. 12-ton stones blocking the entrance.
The barrows can be... Like, so far, you've not really talked about many artifacts. You talked about dolmens, which are structures. And now you're talking about human remains. This video is called Most Amazing Ancient OOPArts.
Clearly suggesting they are buildings of tremendous importance, but without enormous multi-million-pound machinery, permits, and most importantly, permission from the landowners. Conveniently, all these incredible
Ooh, I like
undug
that
sites
coin now.
are
Is that a
set
coin? Is that an alien coin?
private lands. We will probably never find what's inside, but many rumors abound, like those which circle Bella's Nap, tales which tell of more elongated skulls exhumed from the surrounding earth during a normal
I would do a
archaeological
video on elongated skulls, but this ain't it, buddy.
exploration. Yet, regardless of this seemingly meticulous suppression in the UK, an incredible find has nonetheless been unearthed in Crimea. Many of the intriguing features of the remains are the same
I'm a bit
characteristics
irritated.
which gave rise to the elongated
I picked your video because it said Most Amazing Ancient OOPArts, and you're not delivering.
skulls of Peru's popularity. Yet this skull still possesses its tiny, complete skeleton. The eye sockets, which once housed the creature's eyes, were enormous, and although the entire frame of the creature is of a small size,
Oh, I haven't had coffee today because we're at the new place and we don't got the coffee maker and stuff here. So yeah, I don't have any coffee.
the lack of a pronounced pelvis would have made them very slender and would have emphasized the size of the cranium. It is a strong candidate for the only complete elongated skull remains in existence. We find the elongated skull highly compelling. In 1932, gold prospectors searching within the San Pedro Mountains of Wyoming would make a groundbreaking discovery.
Pedro is
a
also
find
not an
which
artifact. Pedro is a human remains. Pedro's not.
for a brief period of time, exposed to the world the past existence of a group of people, a secret, unexplainable race, which has been successfully covered up for over a century. Cast into the realm of folklore,
Oh, I see what you mean. Thank you, Dave, for buying me a coffee. If you want to buy me one, you can buy me one too. I could use all the help I can get because we just moved and things are tight right now.
this group of people could be attributed to tales of gnomes or hobbits. The once native crow
Hobbits? The Crow famously encountering hobbits.
people spoke of their ferocious nature for many hundreds of years. No taller than 36 inches in height, according to William R. Corliss in his 1978 book Ancient Man, a Handbook of Puzzling Artifacts, citing the Anthropological Institute.
I'm going to do another episode on OOPArts because this is disappointing. I wish I'd had time, but with all the movement and stuff, I didn't have time to preview this one. But I'm so annoyed that this is not about OOPArts.
1876. An ancient Little People graveyard of vast proportions was once found in Coffee County. It was estimated.
Yeah, I'm sure we talked about all of this when we did our Pedro Mountain Mummy video, but this is not. And you know what? Well, I don't know what that is, but let's see if we can find a better video that's maybe something shorter. prehistoric OOPArts found during mining. This is the same channel, though. So you better not give me a bunch of
number of artifacts
frickin'
found
skeletons.
in varying parts of the world, which, due to the immense age of the strata they were discovered within, fly in the face of current paradigms in regards to the chronology of man. Iron pots, zinc vases, even imprints of ancient chariot wheels, found in numerous coal seams, and found by people in positions of responsibility.
Yeah, this is more what I'm
whom
looking
often
for.
testify not only in regards to their legitimacy, but are often accompanied by the lump of coal in which they were found, still possessing the intriguing imprint upon their surface, undeniably supporting the testimonies of these individuals, all but proving authenticity beyond doubt. Like that of the iron pot and its accompanying coal block, which was its tomb.
The eagles were obviously thunderbirds.
Carbon dating has indicated that the pot is an astonishing 300 million years old. However, as time goes on and coal mining, along with many other mining activities, becomes more rapid and advanced in nature, it is simply a matter of time before even more mysterious and unexplainable artifacts are also found. Unfortunately, due to the controversial
I think that's that portal to hell mine.
nature of these artifacts, it is very likely that a number of them have either been shrugged off or actively destroyed before ever achieving
Bro, if
widespread
you say that this mine is an artifact, I'm going to be so annoyed.
acclaim. However, fortunately, the next artifact of interest, just like that of the many others we have previously covered, can not only be seen as yet
They included skeletons and structures. They weren't artifacts.
another smoking gun, indicating that there has been a number of advanced phases within human civilization. But yet again, this timeline could, in all possibility, date back an astonishing 300 million years. Although modern society has been taught that we are at the height of human accomplishments, many of these techniques we currently claim as our own accomplishments could have been achieved an unimaginably long time ago, far back within Earth's history. Dated to the same age as that of a number of other artifacts, which we have covered in the past, a group of brass doorknobs were once abandoned, eventually finding their way into a coal seam, which has been dated as 300 million year old geology. Found still encased within this ancient strata, these astonishing artifacts are undeniably of an incredible age. Unfortunately, and rather predictably, not much has been done in regard to mainstream investigation into said artifacts, and their current location, if indeed still in existence, is unclear. Yet fortunately, before their disappearance, photographic evidence was taken, subsequently allowing us to add it to the volume of research and artifacts which not only support our posit of lost civilization, but place human activities an impressive 300 million years back into Earth's history.
300 million year doorknobs, are you sure? Let's see. What's this? Oh goodness. Let's see here. Webarchive.org. What is this, huh? Not found in a coal seam at all. Not in a coal seam at all. Look at this. Shipwreck, known as the doorknob wreck. Oh, goodness. And there's our lumps. Uh-huh. So, not from a coal seam. Even the picture that they're using, this one right here, the brown granite or marble doorknobs, was recovered from a watch case. Yeah. Who do you fooling, mystery history guy?
Who made these brass doorknobs? Could we really be a civilization hundreds of millions of years old? We find the evidence to
I'm mainstream investigation, bitches. Ooh. I'm like really good at this.
Just such, highly compelling.
I wish it was profitable to debunk nonsense. There's no money in it. Because I'm really good at it.
In 1944, a 10-year-old boy by the name of Newton Anderson was playing in his basement, smashing lumps of coal with a mallet, when he made an amazing discovery. The coal that he was playing with had been mined very near to where he lived in Upshur County, West Virginia, and is largely accepted to be around 300 million years old. Imagine then Newton's and subsequently his parents' surprise when he presented to them this small bell, complete with strange winged figure and its possibly very ancient clapper, later found to be made of iron. Although there are many people who now insist that the dating of the coal must be incorrect, this little bell could also be a long-lost relic, lost within woodland, that over the eons becomes perfectly preserved within the eventual coal seam, lost by an advanced civilization which once inhabited Earth. The
What's
bell
the
is
name of the
considered an
bell?
antediluvian artifact, or an
Garuda,
object
the
of
Garuda
pre-flood
bell?
origin.
Is this the Garuda bell? Okay, hold on. Let's pull that up. The Garuda bell. Oh, Genesis Park has it. Oh, nice. You know it's authentic then. Genesis Park. It's not a strange figure though. It's Garuda, right? Tell me something good. Why did you disconnect? My headphones just told me they were connected. I'm like, what? All right. I'm just reading about this. Found in West Virginia. Yeah. Oh, got some conspiracy theory stuff. I need something decent. Come on. Tall Indian. Kept the bell until 2007 when it passed to Genesis Park. Oh, for fuck's sake. Polygraph, which tells me Jack. And then it talks about Charles Ford. I don't know.
By the
But I don't
Institute
trust
for Creation Research, who had the bell submitted for laboratory testing at the University of Oklahoma. Whilst there, a nuclear activation analysis revealed that the bell contained an unusual mix of metals. A mix of metals not uncommon to Earth, but rather unusual for our current civilization to have decided to have manufactured it with, further supporting its authenticity as a very ancient relic. Later on in his life, Newton Anderson spent a great deal of time researching the figure atop the bell.
That's Pazuzu. That's not what was on top of the Garuda bell, though. Is it? No, it doesn't look like Pazuzu. Is it Pazuzu? Yeah, it is Pazuzu. Hell yeah. Okay. No, doesn't look like Pazuzu. Because it's doing a prey thing. Pazuzu generally does his... Okay. All the references I can find go back to Genesis Park. And I don't trust Genesis Park.
He discovered similarities to the Babylonian southwest wind demon called Pazuzu. The demon typically is shown with a prominent headpiece like the bell figure. The Hindu deity, Garuda, is sometimes depicted on top of bells, as is the Egyptian Isis. The kneeling posture with hands
because
clasped
it can't be Garuda and Pazuzu at the same time.
is also quite like Garuda representations. And because of this, some have argued that it must be an Indian Ganta bell. However, these similar and often confusing arguments over very similar deities could be seen as a consequence of cataclysm. Past civilization and the mythologies briefly retained, and all recorded at a time before such belief systems became too clouded with other outside influences. Another rare artifact is this strange handle, also found in coal and fortunately photographed before it vanished forever. Totally petrified and reportedly appeared to have virtually turned to coal.
What is it?
According to those who briefly investigated, another rare artifact is this strange handle, also found in coal and fortunately photographed before it vanished forever. Totally petrified and reportedly appeared to have virtually turned to coal. According to those who briefly investigated it, the handle appeared as well made as any modern handle. What do you think regarding these strange objects? Can coal form and objects petrify faster than we have ever witnessed? Or are these relics
No, I don't
indeed
think
millions
so.
of years old? Thanks for watching.
Wouldn't be surprised to find out that, say, a little bell might have fallen into a coal supply at some point. That seems more.
Guys, and until next time, take care.
Lake Superior, the largest of the North American Great Lakes. It is also the largest freshwater lake in the world by surface area. Believed to have first been inhabited 10,000 years ago, after the retreat of the last ice age. However, there exists copper mines upon many of the lake's islands,
We just talked about that. Convenient.
which many researchers have concluded to be prehistoric. A sophisticated array of tunnels litters the islands, or more specifically, all of North America. Scarred by ancient mine pits as deep as 150 feet, Carbon-14 testing of wood remains found in sockets of copper artifacts indicated they are at least 5,700 years old, although artifacts and evidence at some sites have suggested a date far older than what has been put forward. For example,
That's a skull, not an artifact.
some investigators believe that the mines were not even built by humans, but are the remains of a sophisticated mining operation that was once undertaken by alien visitors many thousands of years ago. Similar in scale to the ancient Carolina mica mines, mica being a material which we use in electrical components. It must be noted that all of these prehistoric mines show evidence of being abruptly abandoned. Whether this is evidence of the death of an unknown king or queen, or evidence for catastrophe is unknown. All along Lakeshore are vestiges of this once highly successful ancient operation. The most astonishing of remnants cataloged publicly has to be the enormous lump of pure copper found in
I'm not even impressed by this. I mean, I am impressed by it, but I'm like you're not presenting something mysterious here. This is well known.
1771 near the bank of the Ontonagon River. In 1945, it was floated downriver on a raft by a James K. Paul and was eventually appropriated by an agent of the United States government. It was then shipped to Detroit and on to Washington, where it eventually slipped into the bowels of the Smithsonian. Known as the Ontonagon Boulder, it weighs 3,708 pounds. It was apparently well known to Native Americans. According to the Keweenaw Bay Indian community, the boulder was used by tribe
Slipped into the basement of the Smithsonian.
members to make offerings to its manito, or spirit, to seek improvement in their health and well-being. Just how old is the Ontonagon Boulder, or indeed the mine from which it came?
It's a glacial boulder. It was strewn there. We talked about that earlier today too.
Though many would like you to believe the mines are less than 5,000 years of age, we think many factors surrounding them suggest that they are far older than that.
Dorchester, Massachusetts, USA, in 1852. At Meeting House Quarry, workers were using dynamite to break up the bedrock when an explosion threw an artifact into the light of day after spending many thousands of years under the earth.
This guy has a crazy AI voice. This must be older.
According to geologists, the Roxbury Rock, in which this mysterious artifact was embedded, has been dated as having accumulated between 570 and 593 million years ago during the Ediacaran period. Imagine their surprise when workers spotted a metallic object amongst the debris of the explosion, still partially embedded in a chunk of rock, and now sheared into two pieces from the forces of the blast. A zinc vase covered in flower decorations painted in solid silver. The bell-shaped pot is around 4.5 inches tall and about 6.5 inches long, and was noted as being exquisitely made. The age of the vase has been heavily debated amongst specialists, with many struggling to produce ages smaller than 100,000 years. Additionally, the species of flowers and plants that are illustrated upon the vase also went extinct over 100,000 years ago. Not surprisingly, but rather predictably, the pot, along with all authenticated documents...
What I like about OOPArts, though, is like Ivan T. Sanderson, the guy, the cryptozoologist, had his hands in there. He's actually the one who invented the acronym.
Regarding its discovery mysteriously vanished without trace shortly before a full investigation into its amazing history could take place. The initial discovery was covered on June the 5th in 1852 from the publication of the magazine Scientific American, which confirms its authenticity as indeed being found embedded in the solid ancient stone 15 feet below the surface. But shortly after this coverage, like so many other amazing objects found around the world, vanished without trace. Who made this amazing...
According to my research, that is a 19th century pipe holder from India. Yeah, like it says right here. 19th century pipe holder from India. What are you talking about?
Artifact. When was it made? If we go by the age of the rock in which it was discovered, it is amazingly over 500 million years old, but we may never know.
We recently covered the astonishing discovery made deep within a coal mine under Rostov in Russia, fortunately photographed by Mr. Kasatkin, an experienced safety engineer, who discovered the prints of what clearly appears to have been left by chariots' wheels. These seemingly impossible prints are, thankfully, not the only unexplained artifacts to have been found deep within the mines of Earth. In 1912, workers shoveling coal in the municipal electric plant in Thomas, Oklahoma, would make an equally important discovery. As they were breaking up the large lumps of coal in preparation for the furnaces, to their surprise, a small iron pot would be ejected from one of the chunks. Several experts would examine the iron pot over the following few days, all declaring it to be genuine. Apparently, the imprint of the pot could also still be clearly seen in the broken chunks of coal that had encased it for, in all possibility, millions of years. According to Robert O. Fay of the Oklahoma Geological Survey, the Wilburton Mines coal, in which the pot was found, is an incredible 312 million years old. The cup is now displayed at a private museum in southern Missouri.
Private museum in southern Missouri. And found in the Wilburton, Oklahoma mines. The scientific explanation for this is a modern inclusion. Which is what most of this stuff comes down to.
It was fortunately photographed by Robert Nordling, who sent a copy to Frank Lewis Marsh, emeritus professor of biology at Andrews University in Berrien Springs, on 10 January 1949. He forwarded the images to Wilbert H. Rush in 1971. Rush was a professor of biology at Concordia College. This means that we now have several artifacts we know to be in existence, which, according to modern understanding as to the age of coal, are over 300 million years old. The pot is still within a private collection of an unknown collector. During such events as a pyroclastic flow, complete human forms can often be preserved in a fixed position, turned to ash in an instant. Someone turning into a stone fossil with age, however, was thought to be an impossible scenario. That was until 1898, when an extremely controversial discovery was made deep within a copper mine. Although several reports have surfaced over the years of this most peculiar of discoveries, only one has ever managed to stay around long enough to be officially documented. Deep within an old copper mine in Chuquicamata, an ancient stone woman, complete with basket and tools, was discovered. And although a date of only 400 years was preliminarily given, it is clear to the many involved that she is far older than that. The discovery was examined closely by Jose Toribio Medina, a central figure in Chilean archaeology at the time. He described his findings as follows. The body is that of a female. The depth of the soil where the corpse was found was no more than 6 to 8 feet, and the miner was probably searching the mountain when a sudden collapse buried her. The miner, feeling that the mountain was breaking down, lifted her arms up to protect her head, the position in which her body is preserved. This discovery, although the only one of its kind, is highly controversial, and we suspect this may be because certain individuals are aware of its true antiquity. Beside the body were the remains of a basket, a stone sledgehammer, several stone shovels, sharpened pieces of wood, and a torn bag made of...
Yes, the copper man is a mummy. So, Copper Man, also known as the Chuquicamata mummy, was a miner who was initially discovered at a depth of 2 meters inside an ancient mining tunnel. The young man had been trapped by a cave-in, and he was identified as a miner because of the discovery of tools and instruments he had with him that were used to collect copper minerals. The mummified body was found saturated with copper salt, leading to it being well preserved, but with a green tint. The miner's hair was braided. The body is missing one little finger and a toe. An X-ray made by Joseph H. Cross revealed that there is minimal breakage of the bones, and the X-ray shows the artificial occipital flattening deformation of the skull. The Copper Man was found in 1899 and dated to about 550 AD, which is CE. Okay.
Animal hide, all leading to the conclusion that this mummy dates from a very distant time within our history.
No.
After more recent analysis was conducted, it was discovered that it was actually a man, strangely. He also has an unusually shaped skull and a green hue from sulfate and chloride within the copper. It is thought this may have been one of the contributing factors in his marvelous preservation. The Copper Man of Chuquicamata is extremely difficult to research, and although he is clearly of considerable historical importance, his whereabouts may continue to remain vague. Regardless of his known whereabouts, his existence will forever lend credence to a forbidden history here on our planet.
All right. Oh, is this over? Well, I think we're gonna cap this segment here. Very interesting. Oh goodness, I'm blurry. Fix it like this. Ooh, it worked. Sometimes it doesn't work. Sometimes it does, though. All right, so that was our exploration into out-of-place artifacts, where people claim that, basically like artifacts from the last couple hundred years are actually millions, if not billions of years old. Do I believe in this stuff? No. We debunked 2 of them right here in front of your face. We cracked those doorknobs, and we that Indian pipe holder thing. Yeah. So, yes. So, thank you so much for sticking with me for this week in Weird. Please remember to be kind, take care, and we will see you next time.